Good morning. Hey, it's a beautiful Sunday. It's a little hot, but it's Houston. And Deborah Wartring told me this morning that all the humidity is good for your skin. I didn't know that. I honestly didn't. But I now realize why I look so much better since I moved to Houston than I did anywhere else I lived. So it's good. It's good news. It's good news. Welcome, everybody, to Memorial Day weekend here at Emerson. I am really happy to see this many people here. Usually Memorial Day is not a very well-attended service because you all are off doing different things, but it warms my heart to see everybody here this morning. And I'm wondering why you all are here. Dory, do you have any reason? Do you have any?
Nope.
No, you don't have any? You don't wonder why people might be here, Dory? Well, it's very nice to see everybody. We have only one quick announcement this morning. I don't have to announce that there's something going on in the gathering space. You've noticed that. After services, we invite you to join us. Dory has, in celebration of her time here and out of love for all of us, Dory has sponsored a lunch and created a lunch afterwards. So we are very happy to share in this time and in this meal with Dory afterward. Please join us afterwards. So there is no lunch bunch today. We're not going anyplace else today. And the only other announcement I have for you this morning is the auction is wrapping up. If you have not claimed your wonderful gifts, now would be the time to do that. That would be great for you and great for us, and we'd be happy for all of you. And I don't think the bidding is still on. I think the bidding ended, but till midnight tonight. Oh, I thought it was midnight yesterday. It's midnight tonight. Okay, good. If you still want to bid on something and undercut your friend who is hoping to get that weekend someplace or whatever, that would be a very spiritually bonding thing to do. So we would love for you to undercut your friends and steal that gift away from them. Okay, thank you very much, and we welcome you again to Memorial Day weekend. My name is Reverend Ed. I'm the minister here, and this is our guest pianist this morning. His name is Charlie, and Charlie is going to bring us in to our time together.
was beautiful. As we gather in community, we look within ourselves and to each other for strength, restoration, and inspiration, so that as we journey together, we catch the spark of the eternal spirit, and from that spark, we light our chalice flame. Lighting the chalice flame symbolizes to all that the spirit of our congregation is strong, and that our will to transform ourselves and the world is also strong. We light the flame with gratitude. We light the flame in memory of all who have gone before, in honor of all who are here now, and with joy for all who are yet to come. As Julia Mosier kindly lights our chalice here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you joining us from home to light a candle or a chalice of your own. Fred McFeely Rogers, March 20th, 1928 to February 27th, 2003, better known as Mr. Rogers, was an American television host, author, producer, and Presbyterian minister. He was the creator, showrunner, and host of the preschool television series Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which ran from 1968 to 2001. Please join me in reading these words together as they appear on the screen. Anything that's human is mentionable, and anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. When we can talk about our feelings, they become less overwhelming, less upsetting, and less scary. The people we trust with that important talk can help us know that we are not alone. As we work to create beloved community, we welcome all who would join us in building a better world with more love, more justice, and more peace. We welcome all who would join us in growing in mind, heart, and spirit. We welcome all, that's me back there. We welcome all who would join us in tearing down systems of oppression of all kinds. We welcome all who would join their purposes to ours in a loving spirit of right relationship. Please join me in our welcoming. The words are on the screen. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, wherever you find yourself on your life's journey, whichever your pronouns, whether you've walked in or rolled in or dialed in, whomever you love, you are welcome here.
Thank you, Dory. Each time we are gathered, we hear words from one of the 6 sources of Unitarian Universalism. Both of today's readings come from the same person. Today we are hearing the words of Bill McKibben, who was referred to me by our worship associate, Dory, today. So this is one of Dory's favorite folks. I'm putting words in your mouth there, but that's not far from accurate, right? Yeah, just saying. Professor McKibben is a contemporary American environmentalist, author, and journalist who has written extensively on the impact of global warming. He is the founder of 2 environmental organizations, 350.org, and his newest, The Third Act, which promotes environmental activism for Americans over the age of 60. Here are his words this morning. He says, I also think we need unconventional political action, and I increasingly think that there is a need for people of faith to be able to do the kind of things that people of faith did 40 years ago in the heat of the civil rights revolution. This, he's talking about environmental and global warming, this is a moral issue of every bit as much importance, requiring every bit as much sacrifice, courage, energy, as that crisis did in the 60s. And now, with our chalices lit, our hearts and minds centered, please join us in celebrating by singing a hymn together. You may stand if you're comfortable. You may stay seated if you're comfortable. Just join us in singing our first hymn, When the Spirit Says Do. And if you don't like singing, there's some yelling in this one. When the Spirit says shout, right? So shouting, sorry, not yelling.
If the Spirit says.
If the Spirit says, that's right.
Spirit says
And now, due to your overly enthusiastic minister, we have not one, but two stories for all ages this morning. Because Jill came up with an idea, and I said, yes, Jill, that's a great idea. And then Dory came up with an idea, and I said, yes, Dory, that's a great idea. And I didn't ever connect. So we are lucky today that we have two stories for all ages, starting with Jill.
Thank you. Ed asked me, or said a while ago, he was looking for a story for all ages that had to do with ice cream. And I said, knowing that perhaps he knows how much I love children's books, and I said, would you like me to look for one? And he said, oh yeah, that'd be great. So I found this book, and I was immediately drawn to it because it's by, it got an Ezra Jack Keats, it's an Ezra Jack Keats Award winner. And I don't know how many of you know anything about Ezra Jack Keats, but he's best known for introducing multiculturalism into the mainstream of children's literature. He was one of the first authors to use urban settings for his books, and he also developed the use of collage as a medium for illustration. So he got awards. He was a marvelous writer and illustrator. This author also uses collage. Almost all the ice cream pictures are photographs of real ice cream. So it's all in there as well. And so they're not all drawings. They're great pictures. And if you can, watch for the dog. So, ice cream face. And the boy is going to the ice cream store. Though I was going to invite children up. I think maybe I see one child who has never come up, but I was going to invite anybody who wanted to see the pictures better. I encourage you to see me afterward for the pictures. It starts off, I'm an ice cream kid. Lunch should be ice cream sandwich. For dessert, keep the cake and pie. Just give me a la mode, a la mode. Ice cream scooped and round, curled and swirled in a cake or sugar cone with candies or sprinkles. I like them all. But waiting is hard. There he is. Especially when I see ice cream faces all around. The nose licker, the dribbler, the side swiper, the biter, the bearded lady, the bearded baby. But me, I get my no ice cream yet. Waiting in a long line is hard face. So I'm going to imagine how it's going to taste. And when I finally get my ice cream, my face melts into something sweet. It's my ice cream face. Kind of drippy, kind of sticky, slurp, slop, tastes yum. Oh no, not so fast. This is my brain freeze face. I slow way down, licking my sweet treat. An ice cream river tickles my fingers. Oh no, too slow. My scoop is turning into soup. Catch it, lick it, save it quick. Slurp, slop, kerplop. This is my sad face. So he's back to the store. Oh no, the store is closed. Oh yes, ice cream faces all around. Give some scoops to me. Ice cream is even sweeter when it's shared. And I would like to point out for the adults among us, this very short book runs the gamut of desires, frustration, envy, impatience, imagination, satisfaction, mixed blessings, happiness, disappointment, sadness, empathy, friendship, problem solving, and perhaps resilience. We could all use some of that, and it's got it all. Thank you.
This one is called Dory's Story, and it involves the three acts, right? The before Emerson act, first act, the Emerson act, second act, and then who knows what comes next in the third act. I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to talk for a minute, okay? All right, in my first act, pre-Emerson, when I was actually selling Bill McKibben his solar array at his home, I went to a village Presbyterian church, and when we found Emerson together as a clan in my second act, it was because my in-laws, Fred and Lori, they were the UUs, I was not. However, was happy to come to Emerson because they had a recycling program in Vermont. I was recycling queen, and we moved here, and our HOA had no recycling at all. I'm like, back to the 1950s. I was a little worried. But Emerson had a recycling program, and so I was like, oh, this is good. I found my people. You are my people. You make me happy. Thank you very much. And now I'm so glad that I am a Unitarian Universalist. When I first came, I sat in the pews, and I relished listening to the music and the sermons and just not volunteering. It was lovely. It was really good. But I knew that would not last long because that's who I am. I have so many blessings that I need to do. I need to be giving, and that's what keeps me happy and whole. And I don't know if you remember when Reverend Michelle preached about the teacup and the saucer, and that teacup is your well-being, and it needs to be filled with good tea, and if your teacup is down low and missing some tea, you need to focus on you and making that teacup overflow. But once that teacup starts overflowing into the saucer, now you can give from the saucer. And my cup, blessings be, is overflowing with blessings. And so I have a lot to give. And then when I was writing this, I was like, it's like the water cycle. The more I give, the more blessings I get, and the cup fills up and overflows, and it goes on and on. It's lovely. It's lovely, lovely. So you are allowing that to happen, and I am grateful for that. Just some other little stories about my second act here at Emerson. Early on, I found my soul sister, one of them. She's not here right now, but an Emersonian who cares about the creation, who made our Delaney Hall, that addition back there, when built, LEED certified, and who ran and still runs today our Ministry for Earth. It is because of Anne May and probably a cadre of like-minded folks. We have recycling bins throughout the buildings. We have a compost bin out back. We have I'm probably pointing the wrong way, and a Prairie Pocket Park out front, and labels all over reminding us to shut the doors to conserve energy. So I am in awe of her energy, her vision, and her passion. And I will tell her, she knows that, but I will tell her that. Then, at one point early on in social action, I see Ellen Norton here, we went to Austin to train on our advocacy. And that bigger-than-life Kenny Jones, you all remember Kenny? He handed me a slip of paper while we were in training. He goes, how would you like to lead the Houston chapter of Citizens Climate Lobby? And this is where you're going to see a picture come up here. I was like, I was very leery of Texas politics. I sort of still am. And I thought it was just like something fake. And it's not. It's real. And you guys, as a church, have allowed us to educate you about the need for putting a price on carbon, and you've endorsed such legislation, and you have more than once shared the plate with the education arm of Citizens Climate Lobby. This just makes me so happy. So one of the things we did is we made a quilt together, and then we went to a climate rally, siding with love, and you recognize people from this congregation up there. It was a joy. So that's another little story. And then you all know, and Beverly is here, that we have greeters every Sunday that welcome us into our family, our church family here. And one amazing greeter, Deborah, and she also is not here, she's up with the coming of age kids. She just took the time one Sunday and shared with me why she came to Emerson and how it was for her child to have more religious freedom. And as she talked, I'm like, another soul sister. I've met another soul sister. And then there's Betsy Gelb, of course, who has moved away, but she was the greeter extraordinaire. And she invited my entire clan over to her and Gabe's house to listen to the debates. And again, I was feeling very like, I don't know if I can be in Texas, and she just welcomed us in. So I could go on and on, but like what amazing blessing the lay pastoral ministry team has been to our family. We are so blessed to have
y'all as lay pastoral ministers. So Emerson is a gift for which I'm grateful, and that's why we're celebrating. We're giving you food to say thank you. You are my people. You are my family. We will see where the third act leads us. And Jeff is here, and this lunch is sponsored by the two of us, Jeff and Dory. But this isn't supposed to be the homily. We may have limited time, so I'm going to end now with an interactive speaking song. That interactive means you all need to help, and the choir is ready to help too. This I wrote during my first act when I was home raising kids. The song is called Think It Through, and luckily Craig is here to help keep a rhythm because I can't keep a rhythm. And so I'm going to teach you the chorus first. It takes some clapping, so get your hands free, and some okay, go ahead. Think it through. What should we do? Think it through. What should we do? So that's where Craig's going to try and remember. He's going to boom, and we're going to remember, oh, don't clap. Go, Let's try it again. Ready? Ready? Go ahead. Think it through. What should we do? Think it through. What should we do? Beautiful. Look at these. Y'all learned so well. All right, now you get to hear the rap. Go ahead. I'm walking down the path through the nice green grass. My lawn is looking great, not a weed in the place. When what do I find but a dandelion? Think it through. What should we do? Think it through. What should we do? Do I let the flower mellow, turn my green grass yellow, make dandelion wine and a salad so fine? In the country, maybe. In the city, let's see. Rather than use chemicals to get rid of those yellow pals, I'll take some time to dig them up. Aerate the ground the worms can sup. Throw them with a smile in the compost pile. Think it through. What should we do? Think it through. What should we do? I've got to get to school, that's a golden rule. It's late, I'm feeling lazy to walk, there would be crazy. It's really not that far, but could we take the car? Think it through. What should we do? Think it through. What should we do? The car's a mean machine using gasoline. Instead, I'll take my bike and in my head I'll take a bike. I'll ride my bike to school. Now that is cool. Think it through. What should we do? Think it through. What should we do? I'm in the grocery store buying food, it's a chore. What to buy and how much? Made from scratch or from a box? Plastic wrapped or styrofoam? Oh, what should I bring home? Think it through. What should we do? Think it through. What should we do? Each package, oh, and this is my nerves. If we could use less packages and make our food from scratch instead, we'd make less waste. In the end, less garbage helps the earth to mend. Reuse and recycle where we can. Think it through. What should we do? Think it through. What should we do? I'm walking through the house, and where'er I go, I turn up all the lights so it's all aglow. Turn up that heat too, isn't that okay to do? Think it through. What should we do? Think it through. What should we do? Each light that's on takes energy, like gas or electricity, so turn them off when not in use and save the earth from that abuse. Keep your heat on low, you'll be Earth's hero. Think it through. What should we do? Think it through. What should we do? See what we need to keep in mind. The Earth's our home for all time.
She'll spin green if treated right and bring us joy both day and night. So make your choices carefully in all you do. Think it through. What should we do? Think it through. What should we do? Thank you very much.
Go away. Don't
Don't
go away.
go away.
Come on. No. Come on, no.
Turn it off, though. This is the next one.
We wanted to, on behalf of everyone at Emerson, we wanted to thank you for your time here with us and everything that you've done here at Emerson and everything. And I hope that you got some personal growth out of it for yourself, because we know we got growth out of it from you. And we are thankful for your time here with us, even though most of it was not with me. I've only seen the last year of it.
He allowed me to do all this. This is
So we have three little gifts for you. So we have a little chalice, which you can use when you're someplace else, New Jersey or whatever.
Thank you.
And it comes with a starter chalice set. Okay. And we hope that when you light it, when you're participating in services at some other church or zooming in, that you're able to light it and you remember all these wonderful folks here at Emerson. The second gift we have for you is you sponsored lunch, but we bought you an ice cream cake because it's ice cream cake because ice cream cake is awesome and you're awesome. And the third thing we have for you is we have a video. Somebody put together a video for you. So you may need to, I hope they put together, I heard I got a thumbs up, or at least a hand, I can't see. There you go. All right. Moving on. One thing that we are working on here at Emerson is we are working on making sure that this community is strong now and strong into the future. And one way that you make sure a volunteer community like this, a community of volunteer association, is strong is you have a way to deal with conflict. As you just saw, emotions run strong in a church. They just do. And that's good. But emotions cause conflict. And conflict can be messy. So one of the things that churches need to be able to do is be resilient and strong when it comes to conflict, and have a way, a strong, solid way, so that when conflict does happen, people can be brought back into the community after something has gone sideways or gone wrong. Right now, the way the church is structured, conflict lands in one of two places. It lands on the minister's lap or it lands on the board's lap. Both of those plans are not plans. They're just the way things happen. And they are very risky. They are very, they have the possibility of being very destructive. So what churches are doing is they are writing what is called right relations policies. These right relations policies are policies that will bring us back into right relations after conflict has happened. This could be conflict with just one person. It could be conflict with a group of people. So what we have asked is we have asked 3 of you to get together and to draft a right relations policy, which will then be brought to the board for approval. And when the board approves it, we will then bring it to all of you to read it and approve it and say, yes, this is how I want to be together with people here at Emerson. So there are 3 brave souls amongst you who have taken on this work, and I'd like to recognize them today, and I would like to ask you to give them your blessing as they go forward on this work. So we have Hillary Ritz, we have Bradley Smith, and we have Larry Hulbig. On behalf of everyone at Emerson, we'd like to thank the 3 of you for taking on this task and writing this policy. It will not be easy, but it will be, in the end, in the best interest of Emerson, and it will make Emerson a stronger place going into the future. It'll make Emerson a stronger place by making it more resilient going into the future. So we honor you and your work, and we look forward to your work probably in the fall or in the next 15 minutes. When do you think you'll be done? But let's say fall or winter, when we will have the opportunity to see this as a community and say together, yes, this is how we want to live. So we hope that your work is good and fruitful and bountiful, and we look forward to seeing it. And with all that is going on this morning, I have absolutely no idea what is next. What? Oh, thank you. And now Dory will bring us into our offering.
Emerson collects an offering each week, like many other communities of faith, but our offering is not for our church, which is supported by the annual pledges of our members. We collect our Sunday offering to give to others, because we know that giving is both a transformative spiritual act and an important way to live our values. And we have special guests to talk about what 75% of our total offering will go to, Linda Connett and Sarah Boyd, and I have a little careful of the platform for short people.
Imagine a world where women and girls have an equal say in decisions that affect their lives, their bodies, their policies, and their environment. Imagine a world in which women and girls can live free of fear and violence and have access to quality and affordable education and health care. The International Convocation of Unitarian Universalist Women, or ICUUW, advances progress toward that reality. Gender equality is not only a fundamental human right, but essential to addressing the world's unprecedented, intertwined global crises. With your support, the ICUUW continues to empower women and girls around the world to break down barriers, because women and girls, when empowered, will change the world. Some of our recent and current programs include support for asylum-seeking women and their families of grassroots organizing for immigrant BIPOC communities in Texas, especially San Antonio, humanitarian relief for families fleeing war in Ukraine, including educational support for refugee children in Romania, violence prevention and sexual reproductive health workshops in Kenya, Hungary, India, the Philippines, and Romania.
ICUU grew out of a women's gathering in 2009, which brought 600 women from around the world together here in Houston. We should be very proud of that. The camaraderie, inspiration, and projects developed in Houston led to a small but mighty organization in special consultative status with the UN. Currently, the only international UU organization working directly with UU communities around the world. In September, about 200 women will gather again, this time in Transylvania, the birthplace of Unitarianism, to develop and strengthen connections that create new projects, programs, and partnerships. Of course, you are invited. We need your help now more than ever. We are in a period globally where women's rights are being systematically stripped away. An $8,000 matching gift recently received from the UU funding program will bolster our resistance to this global backlash against women's rights by creating a strategic roadmap towards a future that is more gender equal and consequently more peaceful and thriving. Last year, Emerson's Share the Plate collection supporting ICUUW brought in $1,178. In order to qualify for part of the matching funds, ICUUW must receive more in contributions from us this year than last. So far this month, our donations have exceeded this amount, so everything that you donate today will go towards this matching fund. So please give generously. Let's invest in women and girls for a brighter future for all. Thank you. And as you know, there are donation plates in the front and the back. Thank you. And may you all have ice cream later today.
Yes, and the other 25% of the offering will go to Interfaith Ministries Meals on Wheels, which provides thousands of meals every day to Houston's homebound seniors. So you can go to our webpage for online giving. You can put cash or check in our offering plates or mail a check to the church. And during the offering music, children who want to attend their RE class may follow Sherry to their classrooms.
This is the time in our service where we pause and we take a moment to reflect. And sometimes that's in silence, and sometimes that is with spoken words. And today, I would like to use spoken words. This is Memorial Day weekend, and it would be remiss of us to let that pass. It is a conflicting holiday for many of us. But I found this prayer from the Reverend Barbara Peskin, who retired from professional ministry in 2011, and she wrote these beautiful words, and I'd like to offer them to you today. She says, "Remember now all those whose lives have been taken by the wars they did not start. Honor those who felt a call to serve something greater, a call to protect and to free. Honor here poets and their mourners who carry in their hearts an absence that pulses, an ache that once felt never truly goes away. Sing out with gratitude and with grief for a lifelong longing for a better way. Plants, trees, strong and tall, let the branches breathe even to the graves far from home. Feel the earth holding us, bearing witness. To stories too hard to speak, memories held in bodies while ancestors whisper, no more, never again, remember me. In this place, we honor all of the wounds and the scars, spirits broken and seeking wholeness. Let this be a house of reunion, calling all our pieces home. In us, veterans, in a forest of 1,000 fallen promises, let new leaves of protest grow in our stumps. Stir up new courage to listen and not turn away. And with our bare hands and our full hearts, with all our intelligence, let us create together a lasting peace. Amen. Now I ask Dory to bring our second reading.
Both of today's readings come from the same person. Today we are hearing the words of Bill McKibben. He says, "A spiritual voice is urgently needed to underline the fact that global warming is already causing human anguish and mortality in our nation and abroad, and much more will occur in the future without rapid action. The technology we need most badly is the technology of community, the knowledge about how to cooperate to get things done."
Thank you, Dory. So, I realize we're running long, and you all want ice cream. So, let me just say what I have to say as quickly as I can. Dory asked me to talk today about the third act. The third act is something put together by this guy we've been hearing about today, Bill McKibben. And she asked me to do it in May, which is funny because do you know that May is Older Americans Month? It was started in 2012 by President Obama. Let me read you their mission. It was started by the Administration for Community Living, which is kind of sad that we need one of those, but okay. So the Administration for Community Living was created around the fundamental principle that older adults and people of all ages with disabilities should be able to live wherever they choose, with people whoever they choose, and with the ability to participate fully in their communities. Makes me sad to think that we need a government agency to help with that, but we do, apparently. And we have the agency, which when I first heard about it, I laughed like you did. I said, Older Americans Month, that is just a reason to write really awkward greeting cards. I'll let your imagination roll on those, because I tried to write a few greeting cards and I couldn't come up with any that weren't hilarious. So Dory wanted me to talk about this third act group, and this is a great month to do it in, because this third act group is a group targeted at members who are over 60 working on environmental justice, and they have, of course, added to that voting rights, because without voting rights, we can't do anything. So here is their Third Act's mission. Third Act says, we're a community of Americans over age 60 determined to change the world for better. Well, thank God someone is, right? Third Act harnesses an unparalleled generational power to safeguard our climate and our democracy. That, they're talking to some of you. They just called you unparalleled generational power. Did you know you were unparalleled generational power? You did? That's great, because wait till you get to the rest of this sermon. So when I first thought about how to talk about the third act, I immediately went to Hinduism. Hinduism has something called ashramas. Have you heard of ashramas? In Hindu ashramas, basically Hinduism lays out the stages of your life as you go through it. And they have 4 stages, a little bit different than what Dory was saying, but I'm going to tell you about them. The first stage is brahmacharya. Now that I pronounced it wrong, I'll never pronounce it right. Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is the student stage. Brahmacharya means one who is on the path of the divine. So it is a stage of innocence. Generally speaking, it is people under the age of 25. At least in ancient Hinduism, that meant they were celibate. They were students, and they often went to learn with a guru. The second stage is the grahastha stage, is the householder stage. And the word grahastha actually means being in and occupied with a home or a family. This means marriage, family, children, responsibility, but it also means pleasure, wealth, and accumulation of stuff, and generally lasts until about the age of 25. Then they say the third stage is vanaprastha. Vanaprastha stage, you're not going to like this, vanaprastha stage is the hermit stage. The word vanaprastha actually means retiring to the forest. So what you're supposed to do in Hinduism is, after your children become grahasthas, after they have their family, you're done now. You can go off and find God in the forest. I don't think that's popular in Western culture anymore, and we're kind of running out of forest anyway. So it is a gradual withdrawal. A duty as a householder comes to an end. You kind of become a grandparent. Your children are now in the grahastha stage, and you kind of look at them and go, good for you. Traditionally, it is a time for you to renounce all physical and material pleasure, remove yourself from social and professional life, and leave home for a forest hut where you can spend your time in prayers. That does not sound all that bad, does it? There's something appealing to that in a way, and maybe because of where I am in my stage of life. And then they have a fourth stage of life. They have a fourth act, a fourth stage of life, which is sannyasa. Sannyasa is the wandering or ascetic stage where you renounce everything. The word sannyasa means purification of everything. Renounce, you dedicate your life to religion, no home, no other attachments, renouncing all desires, fears, hopes, duties, and responsibilities. You can, by the way, jump right from the brahmacharya to the sannyasa stage if you want. That's how you see these folks, these sort of ascetic monks-like people in India. So I thought about those 4 stages. And I thought that there is something nice and normalizing about those stages. And there is something, when you look at your life, wherever you are on that path, you can see your path going from one to the other. Maybe not exactly at 25, but at some point, you transition from one path to another, and from another to another, and to another. And the good thing about this order, this hypothetical order, is as we move from one stage to another, we get out of the way for the people who are coming, for the people to make the next group, because many of us have worked very hard to prepare the next group to be entering the phase that we were in. Which means we let them do their thing and let us do our thing. And which is our thing? When you come to this phase, when you come to this age 60, which I'm not quite there yet, but I can see clearly in the headlights. When you come to this phase, what do you see? I see myself being able to spend time making the world a better place. Not just for me, but for everyone. I can see that. And this third act organization that Dory loves is helping you orient yourself in that direction. It's saying, look here, look right here. And there's a lot of people saying to you, look here, right? There's a lot of charity. There's a lot of good social organizations out there. But this one is specifically focused on making the world more livable. So you have to pick a thing. Third act will help you by orientating you. This church will help you by orientating you. It'll orientate you toward community here at Emerson. It'll orientate you toward what we are doing for social action. And of course, you have other groups that are helping you orientate as well. And it is a good thing that you have this work and you have this time. It is a good thing for America, because now I kind of went into a little bit of my old profession, which dealt with a lot of numbers. For those of you who love numbers, I printed it out and I'm leaving it where the orders of service are. So if you really want to know a little bit more about this, why is it important to focus on the over 60 group? Why is that important? Well, I know why it's important for some of us, but I'd like to show you some demographics. I went on to the Census Bureau's projections of demographics, projections of population between now and 2100, which sounds like a long way away, but it's really not. It's 80 years from now. And I want to show you some important things that I found out when I did a little bit of math. So if you could move, yeah, okay. I know that's a lot. If math wears you out, just hang on. I'll say it in a minute. In 2022, the amount of the population in these United States over age 60 is 24%. 24% of us Americans are over age 60. By the year 2100, it will be 35%. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but you're talking about 330 million people. It's a lot of people. Let me tell you what that means. That is an 11% increase. That is almost a 50% increase in the percentage of the population of this country that is over age 60. What does that mean in numbers? That means more than 50 million more Americans over the age of 60 than there are right now. Now, 50 million more Americans over the age of 60, but 32 million more Americans total. I'll let that sit in. 50 million more Americans over the age of 60, but 32 million Americans more. So what happens to the population under age 60? The population under age 60 decreases by 18 million people. This is the Census Bureau's projections. These aren't my projections. So what does that look like? If you look at the tall green charts of the total population, which, by the way, interestingly, you can see the population stops growing and starts shrinking around the year 2070. The red line is everybody under the age of 60. The blue line is everybody over the age of 60. When we say America is getting older, we mean it. America is getting older, and I mean a lot older. People over the age, now listen, I know this is numbers, and I know I'm losing you a lot of you here, but hang with me. People over the age of 60 account for 154% of the total population growth between now and 2100. That might fry some of you. 154% of the total population growth will come from people over the age of 60. That means that negative 54% of total population growth will come from everybody else. The over age 60 group is the most important group in this country, bar none. So I ask you, what are you going to do? Now, this is an 80-year period, so a lot of the over 60-year-olds we're talking about aren't even born yet. So it's a little bit hard to project out, right? It's hard to imagine. Well, let me ask you. We, you and I, all of us, even Atticus, we are the ancestors of that great generation of over 60-year-old people. We are the ones they will look back on. We have our ancestors, right? World War II, Vietnam, civil rights, the battles that they fought to orientate this world in at least not the wrong direction, at least in the right direction. We have those ancestors. Who will they have? They will have us. Who will they point to when they say, we were standing on the shoulders of giants? It's you. It's everybody in this church. Those giants are you and me. Those giants will come from the third and fourth ashramas. The first two ashramas are too busy. Growing up, being a householder, it's too much work. We are the future. Everybody always looks at the children and says they're the future. I think this says that we're the future. These are our battles: climate change, more civil rights, ending hunger, anti-war. These are our battles to fight so that the next generation can fight theirs, which is sad, but it's true. Everything we do is because of those who came before us, right? We are standing on the shoulders of giants, and they are standing on the shoulders of giants. Those giants are you and me. We are stronger together, folks. We just are, and we know that. And when it comes to climate, especially when it comes to climate, we need to be strong now. Because climate, unlike civil rights, can't be easily turned around in the other direction. So I am asking you, if this inspires you, look at the Third Act. They have a Texas organization in Third Act that just started a couple months ago. They are certainly looking for folks. They only have 51 folks. And here is their mission. It's a little cooler. We are seasoned pros, old and bold. This is the Texas Third Act group. They have a Facebook page. We are on a mission, safeguarding democracy, keeping the client livable for the next generations. We are going to have a hoot, their words, while we shake things up. Think better country, healthier planet, and maybe a two-step or two. So the greatest generation, my friends, is sitting here in this room, isn't it? And it's just going to get bigger, and it's just hopefully going to get better, and it's going to provide broad, wide shoulders for those who come after us to stand on. Let it, please let it be so. And now I invite you to sing with us our second hymn. You may stand if you are willing, or you may just stay seated, but either way, help us in singing our second hymn, which is All Will Be Well, filled with loving kindness. We extinguish this chalice flame now, not as a symbolic ritual, but as a practical ritual. We do this because the fluttering light of our congregation is carried with us into the present, and those not present with us today, and those who left us long ago, and those who are yet to come. We are so grateful for your presence this morning. For those of you who have joined us on YouTube, thank you. I'm sorry I forgot to say hi at the beginning of the service. Thank you very much for coming. We are so glad you were able to be with us. After the postlude, we will end our streaming service, and we look forward to seeing you again at some other time. We thank you all for your participation, and we look forward to hosting you again. and our chalice is extinguished, and may we, in the course of our week to come, be able to feel the liberating love and freedom that this religious path brings to us. May our gods welcome us. May those gods challenge us to live up to our own expectations of ourselves, wherever and whatever they are. And may the world around us light up so that we might see our way back to clarity and wholeness. And please join us for Dory's wonderful lunch in the gathering space immediately following the postlude.